The minivan is back. Let's talk about it. It's the Hoops Nerd Show. All right, guys, like always, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please watch till the end. Okay, so the Utah Jazz traded R.J. Lewis Jr. to the Boston Celtics, and they got back the minivan, Georges Niang, and 2 second-round picks. Everyone who had lost their mind over giving a pick by trading Colin Sexton to the Charlotte Hornets can now rest easy. Now you can finally sleep well that second round pick has been brought back twofold, and you get a minivan for your efforts. The minivan, a little used, probably needs some new tires, probably needs to go through the car wash. Little paint job needed here and there, but it's a good minivan. It runs, it knows what it's supposed to do. Get you from point A to point B. Georges Niang, I was a fan of Georges Niang when he was on the Jazz. It wasn't that surprising when he left because he kind of fits a role that a lot of teams need. He is a solid passer. We all know that he can shoot the three. Now, whether he shoots it great in the clutch is another thing. I don't really, I don't have the numbers right in front of me. It just feels like he's not the greatest clutch shooter, but as just a regular season player, someone who makes smart plays, shoots the ball well, has great touch around the rim. I remember when Georges Niang was on the Jazz before, I had written something on SLC Dunk about how his touch near the basket was actually one of the best on the Jazz. So there's some really nice thing that Georges Niang does. Now, why would the Jazz bring back Georges Niang? Well, Georges Niang has about an $8.2 million contract this season expiring. Are we seeing a trend here? We're seeing what happens with this Utah Jazz team. They are bringing back contracts and they are expiring. They are clearing those books for not this offseason, but the next. Or actually, yeah, for this offseason. So what Utah's doing this year is pretty clear. They are not going to win a lot of games, but they are going to have clear books. So this is just another contract that falls off. It's why the Jazz gave the second round pick in the Colin Sexton trade, is because Charlotte knew they wanted an expiring. They got Nurkic. That contract falls off after the season if Utah doesn't want to re-sign him, and that's fine. Utah, in a lot of ways, will have a bunch of players now that will just have their contracts just fall off. That includes Kevin Love, Nurkic, and now Georges Niang. I need to look at Kyle Anderson. In fact, let's look at Kyle Anderson right now. But this is something just really important. Utah is doing this to make sure that they have clear books, because if they win the lottery, they get one of Cam Boozer, they get Darren Peterson, or AJ DeBonsa, then they're in really good shape. Now, looking at Kyle Anderson, he has $9 million on his contract this upcoming season and $9 million the year after. So I wouldn't be surprised if Utah looks for some way to move that contract at some point to make sure that they clear the books completely and have all their young players playing. They will have room to and money to re-sign the players they want to at certain amounts. For example, Utah has Walker Kessler ready for an extension. Utah may not know how much they want to give him if they win the lottery, if they don't win the lottery. All these different things will affect what the Utah Jazz do how they want to go forward. My guess is that Utah's going to start being pretty decent with all these young players. They'll develop some will stick. We'll see what happens with AJ DeBonsa, Walter Clayton Jr. Utah has just the one first-round pick next year. It's their own. It's vital. Utah cannot lose that pick. Can you imagine going young like this and the plan the Jazz have put forth like this only to miss out on their pick next year? Doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's pretty clear from everything that everyone has been saying is that they are going to lose and they are going to keep that pick. while also competing to win, right? Kind of an oxymoron. They're going to compete to win with players they know will likely not win a lot of games next year. That includes young players. But guess what? After a full season of developing these young guys, another season for guys like Filipowski, Bryce Sensabaugh, Keontae George, we'll finally get to see year 2 of Taylor Hendricks. Those players are going to start getting better. Eventually, those guys get the experience. They start playing well. And someone like Georges Niang, he is good enough that these players are going to have to work to overtake him in minutes, but he's not so good that they can't do it, right? Georges Niang, in a lot of ways, can just be that shooting big that Utah can put in certain situations if they need. He provides depth when they have nights where they need to just have someone play. If Lauri Markkanen has a cold, someone's got to play those minutes, and Georges Niang can, right? And so it makes a lot of sense in some ways in terms of the second-round picks the Jazz got back, the expiring contracts. Georges Niang, he's good enough shooter that he might help them win a game or two here and there, so that makes me a little bit nervous. But I would like to see the Utah Jazz youth get the priority, and I'm guessing that's what they're going to do. All right, guys, that's all the thoughts I got on that. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Welcome back to the minivan. Like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Shout out to all the All-Stars. I appreciate you so much, and all the members as well. Thank you for your support. I will talk to you next time.